friends, welcome back to another one. Last week I did not do a vlog. The blog topic was on health aspects and things to focus on, things that really made a difference for me within a week of me focusing on them more consistently and making them a more important focus in my life. There was no video to that one, like I said, because I was actually focusing on my health. I had faced a couple health issues the weekend prior. You can go ahead and read about that. Definitely check it out because I'm one for always making sure to take care of your health, all aspects of it, mental, physical, emotional, all of it. So if you want, definitely go check that one out. Like I said, there's no video, so it's a quick, short read. But today's topic is for, I don't really want to say expecting mothers, but mothers, because in my opinion, you become a mother once you consciously make that decision to try to start having a child and conceiving, which is again the main topic of today, because pregnancy is an amazing and special, probably one of the most special experiences mothers can experience. But a lot of the times it can also be time of struggle and difficulty. And it's actually becoming more apparent to me how many women out there are actually struggling with this issue. Myself personally, if you've been following along with my journey, you know that my husband and I have been trying to conceive for about a year. We have not gone farther than that and gotten any additional testing or looked into any additional alternatives at this time. But I know so many more other women now through my experience and through my journey who have gone through somewhat of the same thing or a similar experience. And as heartbreaking as it is, it's nice to know that there is a community out there and people who can be there for you and support you and show love for you in your most vulnerable time, and it can help you feel less alone. So those are some of the things that I wanted to share today, are some resources for moms out there, because, I know firsthand, we tend to think, if people can get pregnant on accident, you should have no problem doing it on purpose, and that's not always the case. And lots of women experience miscarriage as well, and that's always an intense heartache. Again, if you've followed along with my journey, you know that some years ago, my husband and I miscarried at 10 weeks, and we were not trying at the time, but it was still really heartbreaking for that to happen. So yeah, that's what today's topic is about, is I wanted to share some resources, and I kind of broke it down into some categories because I know that women can be in a different place or situation, or just their specific situation can be different than other women's. So I'm gonna try to be as broad as I can, but also not let you have this giant rabbit hole of information. So I've broken it down into 3 categories. Conception, so women who are like me, who are trying to conceive, hasn't happened yet, but you're also not in that category where you're considered infertile or having to take alternative methods and treatments yet. So when it comes to conception, it's can be a frustrating journey, but like I said, knowing that there's resources out there can really, really help. So starting with women's health, I will list all of the websites and resources that I'm talking about below as well in the description. Women's health has everything from charts to counseling options to treatment methods, alternative methods and options out there, full of tons of great resources to look into if you're on the conception journey. Next up is the American Pregnancy Association, which has tools, a directory, lots of blog topics that can kind of go more into depth into different situations. And then there's the Health and Human Services, which has multiple resources for pregnancy and prenatal care. And I'm only going to list those three in the conception area. They're great resources to start out with. They have different things in each one, too, to check out. And if those don't work for you, all of these resources and sites have their own additional resources. You might have to scroll down and dig a little bit, but there's always additional resources there as well for you to look into too and see if those help you more. So those are the three that I have for conception. Look into them. There's always Facebook groups as well. You just type in your specific keywords, and there is so many loving people, women out there who will welcome you with loving arms and be there for you on your journey, and end up becoming confidants and friends, and you can create relationships and, like I said, not feel as alone on your journey. Next up is fertility. So if you've gotten to the point where you are beyond the conception point, you've started looking into alternative methods, there are still plenty of options for you out there, starting with Resolve. They're one of the best resources available. They can talk about treatment options, help you find coverage. There's even grants and scholarships, because in my opinion, it's not fair that people who are struggling to start a family have to pay lots of times lots and lots of money to be able to have that dream come true. So there is financial options out there for families who are not particularly in the position of being able to fork out however much money it's going to cost for your motherhood journey. They also have a helpline that can direct you to so many additional resources as well. Next up is Fertility Within Reach. They are a great resource too for helping patients find treatment and coverage options, for helping professionals find a way to offer that service to patients who don't have certain coverages. Their goal is to just try and make family planning as available and widespread as possible. So another great resource there. And then the March of Dimes actually has a ton of info and resources as well on fertility options, treatment, coverage. Kind of just gives you a rundown too of certain things that are included, things about infertility that can just help you better understand what's going on in your situation. And like I said, out of those three resources, each of those has a ton of additional resources of their own that they've checked out and researched and backed on their own. So if there's nothing on those 3 pages for you, definitely check out some of their additional resources till you find something that can help you. And then pregnancy. And this is kind of, I didn't know how else to word it. Pregnancy, there's lots of women who have a hard time, like they're able to conceive, but they have a hard time sustaining their pregnancies. That's a huge issue that, again, not a lot of people know about, because people tend to think that women either get pregnant or they're infertile, and they don't really recognize or understand the middle ground or the in-between. But that can often be the hardest for women. Especially like for me, when I did miscarry, we were able to conceive no problem. And so the miscarriage was kind of a confusion thing, and, there's nothing that could lead to it. There was no explanation. So it was just kind of left us a little bit heartbroken, not a little bit, but heartbroken and confused. And so there are resources out there for women too who are able to conceive but have a hard time sustaining their pregnancies. There's MFMs, which are maternal fetal medicine specialists. You can either talk to your doctor yourself, or your doctor might bring it up with you, your OB, your regular practitioner. about having that specialist. If you are able to conceive, you might want to have that specialist along with you on your pregnancy journey. They basically are the same thing as an OB, but they've gone to 3 additional years of schooling to learn more about the fetus and the mother and how they're connected and how to handle certain situations. So you can either talk to your doctor, like I said, or your doctor might bring it up with you if you're a woman who is able to conceive but has a hard time sustaining pregnancy. And obviously lifestyle changes are going to be a huge part of it too. You're going to want to make sure that your body is the healthiest and able to have the healthiest baby you can have. Another great resource is Baby Center. They have a lot of high-risk community resources. So a pregnancy can be considered high risk if a mother has a pre-existing condition before becoming pregnant, like diabetes or high blood pressure or another array of things. And so they might be considered high risk and they might get an MFM already just because. But also other times certain things can happen along the pregnancy journey that might make a mother high risk when she wasn't before. So there's always great resources to look into if you end up being flagged as high risk, or if you already know that when you do conceive you are going to be high risk already. Lots of great resources there. And then there's another resource called Reproductive Facts. It is treatment of recurrent pregnancy loss. So it can go over multiple types of reasons why it could be happening, treatment options for those, financial options. And so it's a great directory for women who tend to have recurrent pregnancy loss, because it's hard enough as it is to want to become a mother and experience tough journey like right away. But if all you've had is a tough journey and you just keep experiencing recurrent pregnant loss, you definitely deserve to have a family. Don't give up. There are options out there for you. Make sure that you have a doctor that listens to you, especially if you feel that something's wrong that hasn't been looked into. Each of these, again, not the MFM, that's actually something that you might have to look into with your doctor, or your doctor might look into by themselves and discuss it with you. But the other 2 resources are great for high-risk pregnancies, or if you keep experiencing pregnancy loss. So you're not infertile, you're able to conceive, but something is just off. And again, it doesn't mean anything's wrong with you. And these are just great resources to start at. There's an amazing community, like I said, of women out there who are either going through similar circumstances, who have been through it and are now on the other side, who can help encourage you. I actually just read about a debate that more and more women these days are experiencing pregnancy issues, infertility issues, sustaining pregnancy, things like that, than there has been in previous generations. And there was a few different reasons as to why that could be. One is that in past generations it could have been more taboo to talk about it, and so not as many women were open about it as they are now. Another reason could be that in past generations, families were typically started between the ages of 20 and 24, and these days it tends to be more towards the ages of 26 to 30. It could be that I forget, there's so many other reasons, but it was an interesting article to read. I'll see if I can find it and link that below as well. But it's nice to know that there's a community out there, there's resources out there, there's ways to be able to have the family that you've always dreamed of. Just don't give up hope. I haven't. I know that this is also a community that's always here for you as well. And please, if you have a situation that's not in any of the categories I listed and none of these resources is able to help you, like, please comment down below, like, hey, Brandolyn, I need more, please. Like, here's what's going on. I wasn't able to find help. I'm still feeling lost and lonely. Please help. I will be all over it. But please, definitely, if you find yourself in one of these situations, try to check out at least a few of these resources, see what they can do to help, and let me know what it does for you. Thank you again for watching. As I always say, Earth to Mama wouldn't be where it is without you. I wouldn't be where I am without you, and the world and your community around you would not be where it is without you, so please don't forget that. If you are new here, definitely hit that subscribe button and also the notification button so you don't miss another video by me. And as we all know, next week is the first week of August, so I will see you guys with another episode in our Little One series. And I hope you have a great week, and I hope that I was able to provide some help for someone out there. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.